Hi, my name is Brandon Cummings and I'm coming to you today on behalf of eosDAC to provide the EOS community with the information needed to make informed decisions and ensure the network succeeds. In this video, we're going to take a look at 7 things to consider when voting for block producers. The first thing we'll consider when looking at a block producer candidate is whether or not they have pledged themselves to upholding block producer compliance. In short, this just means that the candidate has agreed to the EOS block producer agreement, has a website running with up-to-date information, and has agreed to ownership disclosures. All of these will be necessary for making an informed decision on whether or not a block producer is worthy of your vote. EOS Wire has put together a simple chart for rating BPs on these metrics, and they also go into more detail on what BP compliance means. I'll include a link in the show notes. I highly recommend you check it out. Number 2 on this list is technical competency of block production. So, in order for the promises of EOS to come to fruition, we need to make sure the network is run on a solid foundation by making sure we have the most secure chain possible. In order to accomplish this, we should consider the degree of technical competency of block production a candidate possesses. To get an idea of this, we can start by going to the block producer's website and taking a look at the background and previous experience of the individuals within the team. As you're doing this research, here are some things to consider. Did the team play a role in the test nets, finding bugs, or helping to launch the network? If they're not already a block producer or active backup, does the team's experience give you confidence in their abilities to successfully facilitate these roles if chosen? If you're unable to locate information that builds a track record for you to go by, then using your intuition with the research you've done and looking at the team's combined skill set is a great way to determine the team's potential with technical competency of block production. The third thing to consider is the type of server infrastructure being used and what backups the block producer has in place in the event their primary server is unavailable. Most candidates will either have a bare metal hardware setup, a cloud-based platform like Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud Platform, or a combination of both. There's a lot of discussion going on in regards to the ideal ratio of bare metal versus cloud-based services to secure the network. We're not going to get too deep into all of this today, but hop on any online forum on this topic and you'll see there are many variables to consider, and hopefully you'll be able to form your own opinion. That being said, guys, we definitely want to make sure that we diversify so we don't fall into a situation where the entire network has a single point of failure, like all block producers using cloud-based services, or having all of our bare metal facilities located on one continent that could be prone to unexpected natural disasters. Number 4 is transparency and ownership of the block producer candidate. As an example, one of the cool things about having a decentralized autonomous community block producer like eosDAC is that members get both complete transparency for auditing and ownership through community votes for making decisions and deciding the direction and purpose of the DAC. When looking at a block producer candidate, I would encourage everyone to consider how transparent they are and who or whom they plan to distribute ownership to. Number 5 is the block producer's contributions, community engagement, and values. Here are some questions to ask yourself for this topic. How actively are they engaging the community and in what way? What resources do they bring to the network? Are they building meaningful tools or software for the community to use? What values do they present? As an example, EOS Nairobi has demonstrated that education and incubation are part of their BP's core values. They are facilitating this by encouraging their community and engaging them to learn how to build decentralized applications on EOS. Some of the resources they bring to the network are the bright minds and unique ideas of their community in East Africa. This leads us into number 6, which is geographic diversity. Having block producers spread out in different communities across the globe not only provides EOS with more diverse ideas and solutions, this distribution also increases the difficulty for bad actors, governments, and natural disasters to compromise the network. Another advantage of having geographic diversity is the ability to provide solutions for developing countries that have an immediate need for the economic freedoms provided by EOS. People actively using the network because they rely on it for their livelihood is one of the components of EOS achieving mass adoption organically. Number 7, and the last thing we'll discuss in this video, is how block rewards will be used. In order to answer this, it's important that the block producer candidate you are considering is transparent on how they plan to use the block rewards they receive for securing the network. While a block producer can do many things with the block rewards, we're going to take a look at the 3 main scenarios you'll most likely come across. For scenario 1, let's imagine a block producer candidate that has passed the previous considerations like technical competency, server infrastructure, transparency, and compliance, but when it comes to block rewards, they plan on keeping the profits. The question you want to ask yourself here is, are you okay choosing a block producer you know can do the job of securing the network, but has decided that in doing so, they should be compensated with all of the rewards received? In scenario 2, let's imagine a block producer that is still for profit, but is pledged to set aside funds dedicated to developing things like educational centers, incubators, cafes, software, and other tools that benefit and provide value to the network. For the last scenario, let's take a look at a non-profit block producer like eosDAC, meaning that outside of the funds needed for backup, securing the network, compensating custodians, and fulfilling its mission to build the tools necessary to be a fully functioning DAC and DAC enabler, 100% of the remaining proceeds will be distributed back into the community in whatever way the eosDAC token holders and representing custodians decide. That could be funding other DACs, decentralized application ideas, or choosing to distribute excess rewards as a dividend. So, here's what you need to take away today. The ability for EOS token holders to vote in block producers and decide how they would like to be governed is a new and powerful tool in blockchain that has never been done before. If this experiment is successful, it can allow people to have awesome tools unavailable on any other blockchain like account recovery, no user fees, high scalability, and real token utility through staking. Voting in block producers that align with your values and voting out the ones that don't is an extremely important decision in determining success for the network. I hope you found this list helpful as a starting point for things to consider when voting for block producers. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. We would love to hear from you in the comments below on what else you think should be taken into consideration when voting for block producers, and what topics you would like eosDAC to cover in the future. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.